as most of you watching this probably already know, yesterday was the trade deadline for the NBA, and we had some pretty big trades go down. D'Angelo Russell is now on the Timberwolves, and Andrew Wiggins is on the Warriors. Clint Capella went to the Hawks. Andre Iguodala went to the Miami Heat. And for some reason, Andre Drummond is now on the Cavaliers. And since we did end up having some big names go down in this year's trade deadline, I thought it would be interesting to actually collect all the players that got traded, put them all onto one team, and see if together they could win an NBA championship. So checking out our team in NBA 2K20 here, we got Andre Drummond, Clint Capella, D'Angelo Russell, Andrew Wiggins, Marcus Morris, Omari Spellman, Andre Iguodala, Jabari Parker, Robert Covington, Isaiah Thomas, Justice Winslow, Alec Burks, Maurice Harkless, and Gerald Green, and John Henson. So we have an entire 15-man roster here. There was more than 15 players that were traded before yesterday's deadline, but I actually just took the highest overall players that did end up getting traded. That way we can see the most success out of this team. So of these players, there are no superstar players on this team. D'Angelo Russell was an all-star last season, but other than that, it's more of an all-around just pretty solid team. There's nobody really awful on their team, but there's nobody super great either. So this should be interesting to see what they can do. We're just going to simulate a season through NBA 2K20, and just for some of you guys to know, I do control every team when I actually do these simulations. That way I don't actually have an effect on how well a team will do, so I can't cheat and put the difficulty on rookies so a team will just end up winning. I'm controlling all the teams, so they will all be even. And then I always turn off injuries as well as trade logic. Let's just get right in this simulation, see how these guys do. Coming to the All-Star draft, we end up having one player. We got Andre Drummond as a reserve for Team Giannis. He is our highest rated player on the team, so it looks like he's having a pretty good season so far. In the All-Star game, Andre Drummond ended up playing 17 minutes. He had 5 points and 7 rebounds, so nothing crazy for him in the All-Star game. But at the All-Star break, our team is 34-18. So right now, that's going to give them the second seed in the East. They're really close to the Raptors and the Heat right here, so they could drop, but it's not looking like they're actually going to catch up to the Boston Celtics. And surprisingly, the Bucks and 76ers are doing awful. So I'd rather the team do a little worse because those are the two hardest teams to face off against, but I really don't understand how those two are doing so bad. Heading into the 2020 NBA Awards, the team ends up finishing with 54 wins. We're going to check out what seed that actually is going to give them in the playoffs. LeBron James gets MVP, Rookie of the Year, Ja Morant. Usually we don't see LeBron as MVP. Like 99% of the time it goes to Giannis. So big season by LeBron them. Nurkic with 6-man, Kawhi defensive most improved Doncic, and Frank Vogel is going to get Coach of the Year. 71 wins for the Lakers. End up doing very good. Let's see if any of our players end up making these All-NBA teams. Why does it skip over to the rookie teams? But checking out the teams, we have nobody that does end up making it there. And the team of traded players are going to end up getting the 3rd seed, so they're going to have to face off against the Milwaukee Bucks in the first round of the playoffs. And the 76ers didn't even end up making playoffs. This is the weirdest simulation I think we've ever done. This has never happened. The Rockets also don't end up making playoffs. I don't even, like, what is going on with this simulation? This is so weird. The Celtics are on top, then we got the Raptors, and we got our traded players. But the Magic end up beating out the 76ers to make the playoffs. It was just absolutely insane. Going over to the West, how did the Rockets not make it? 33-49. I mean, they still got Westbrook and James Harden. But I guess with PJ Tucker at center, they were not able to do it, getting a lot worse. I wonder how the Pistons are going to be one of the worst teams without Andre Drummond. And then the Timberwolves do awful. Now they don't have D'Angelo Russell. But the Warriors still do pretty good without Andrew Wiggins. Of course, they still have Steph and Clay, though. And Draymond Green. I don't think he got many minutes this season. In terms of power rankings, they are ranked at number 5 in the NBA. Checking out our player stats, D'Angelo Russell, lead scorer, 17.5 points, 8.8 assists per game. Andrew Wiggins was 16.5. Andre Drummond with a double-double, 14.3 points, 13.6 boards. And then Clint Capella also with a double-double. Unfortunately, we got two centers playing, so nobody really gets to stand out. It would be interesting, maybe move one of them to power forward, how they would do, but they're both getting some pretty good minutes. And then we have a few players not getting any minutes at all during the season. Andre Drummond also had 2 blocks per game. Justice Winslow shot 66% from the field goal. And then Isaiah Thomas shooting 45.5% from 3, so good season for him there. I don't think he scored too much, though. 11.4 points per game. It's pretty good for a backup point guard. Andre Drummond ends up coming 6th in the league for rebounds per game, and D'Angelo Russell was 8th for assists. And then Isaiah Thomas also on here, 4th in the league for 3-point percentage. We'll come over here, this team stats though, just see how the full team compares to other teams in the league. In terms of scoring, they're going to be the 7th best team at scoring, and they're going to be the 6th best defensive team, only allowing 109.2 points per game. Gives them a differential of 8.3, which gives them that number 5 ranking. Number 2 for field goal percentage, so close to actually beating out the Celtics there. They have the 2nd best 3-point percentage as well. Rebounds per game is going to be 3rd. I thought they might get on top with Andre Drummond and Clint Capella. Assists, they are 13th. Steals, they are 19th. Blocks, they are number 3. So checking out all the stats, they're very close to the top in a bunch of different categories. None of them they actually get up there. So looking like they have a solid chance at actually going ahead and winning this, but they got a tough first round up against the Milwaukee Bucks. If they can get past them, I think they have a chance at going all the way, making it to the finals. It's going to be a whole nother story when they got to face off against the Lakers or Clippers, though, which are usually the 2 teams that make the finals. Let's see what they can do up against the Bucks here. Game number 1 is going to be a pretty easy victory for our traded players, winning 122-107. And game number 2 goes completely the other way, the Bucks blowing out our traded players. Game 3, again, the Bucks winning so easily here. They drop 52 points in the 4th quarter. That is ridiculous. So the Bucks now with a 2-1 lead. Our guys are going to have to do something crazy here if they want to try to come back. And game number 4, they are going to do it, beating the Bucks. It was super close. We end up winning by 5 points, but they're going to tie up the series 2-2. And they do have the home court advantage right now, so they can take the 3-2 lead. But looks like the Bucks are going to take this game. It is super close. We're all tied up with 12 seconds left. We actually got to hop in and watch the rest of this game. Okay, so with 12 seconds left, the Bucks are going to have the ball right here. Gonna check out our custom courts as well. Let's see what the Bucks can do. Bledsoe inside to Giannis, and what a clutch shot by Giannis there. Let's see if he can hit the free throw, though, to take the 3-point lead. Traded players have no timeouts here either. Giannis is going to drain the shot, so they got to hit a 3 here. They want to go ahead and move on. Andre Iguodala with the ball right now to Marcus Morris from 3, and it's in and out. The Bucks are going to take the 3-2 lead. I'm surprised D'Angelo Russell wasn't in the game at the end right there. Okay, that's why. D'Angelo Russell actually fouled out of this game. Oh, but look at this plus minus for Clint Capella, -16. Isaiah Thomas also not doing so hot either. Game number 6, our traded players going to clutch up, and they are forcing a game 7 in round 1 here, and they do have the home court advantage as well. So hopefully, maybe they can move on here against the Bucks, and all the other games in the Eastern Conference are super close as well. This actually might be harder than I thought for this team to go ahead and win a champion. And game 7 is going to go to the traded players. The Bucks had a pretty good lead going into the second half. As you can see, they scored 36 in the second quarter, but then our traded players going off in the 3rd quarter and absolutely destroying the Bucks in the 4th quarter. Jabari Parker ended up putting up 23 points, which is pretty surprising, but they're going to be moving on to the 2nd round, barely scraping by the Bucks there. And they will be facing off against the Raptors, and at the higher end of the bracket, some huge upset right here by the Magic. They upset the Celtics. This is going to be interesting. We might have a easier matchup throughout the playoffs. I think the Bucks would be the hardest team to beat here. Let's see what they can do against the Raptors. Game 1 against the Raptors was super close. They end up coming out by 3. They almost blew it in the final quarter there. Raps scored 37, but a 1-0 lead for our traded players. Raptors are going to take game 2, so it's tied up 1-1. Game 3 is going to the traded players. They have a 2-1 lead, and they do have home court advantage yet again in game 4 here. But in game 4, the Raptors are going to end up taking it, so we're tied up 2-2. We might have another super close series, while the Heat have a 3-0 lead over the Magic. And our traded players winning quite easily right here. Raptors almost came back in the final quarter, but they have way too big of a lead. So they're going to take a 3-2 lead, and they do have the home court advantage going into game 6. So possibly they're going to be able to edge out the Raptors here and move on to the Eastern Conference Finals. These games have been so close. This one going back and forth. Coming to the fourth quarter, though, the traded players taking the lead, and they are moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals. Let's see who they're going to face off against. And the Heat are going to beat the Magic. They actually went to a game 7. Over in the West, though, we got the Lakers versus Clippers, like we expected. And game number 1 is going to be a pretty big blowout. Traded players winning quite easily. Game number 2, the Heat win easily, though, so they tie it up 1-1. Traded players getting another game on the Heat here. Now have a 2-1 lead. And game 4, we have another super close game, all tied up at 1-12 with 51 seconds left. So we're just going to hop in here and see which team is going to come out on top. And this is for our traded players to get the 3-1 lead. Dragic with a clutch mid-range there. Here we go, D'Angelo Russell getting the screen from Andre Drummond, fading away a super tough shot. And it's not going to fall. The Heat with the ball, only 22 seconds left in the game. They're just going to run down the clock here. I don't even know if our traded players are going to have enough time to score. If the Heat score here, it's game. Jimmy Butler with the ball, putting up the shot. That is no good. And Andre Drummond with a big board there. See if they end up giving it to D'Angelo Russell here for the final shot. He's in the corner. And no, Andrew Wiggins with the ball. Got to put it up. And it's no good. He was wide open there. So close to falling, but the Heat are going to tie up the series 2-2. Game number 5 is going to go to the traded players, so they now have a 3-2 lead, and they can win the series right here in game 6. Heat do have the home court advantage here, so let's see if they're going to force a game 7, going back and forth here, and the Heat with the lead. And yet again, we have another game 7. Let's hop into game 7. Simcast right here. Traded players had the lead at first, but now the Heat with the lead. We are going back and forth. Traded players with a pretty big lead now, and they are going to defeat the Heat in game 7 to move on to the NBA Finals to face off against the LA Lakers. Starting off with game number 1, and the Lakers absolutely dominating the traded players. And game number 2 is a lot closer. The traded players end up taking this one. We're tied up 1-1. And game 3, the Lakers again with another big victory. They have the 2-1 lead. Lakers getting another victory, and they're going to tie up the series 2-2. So this series looking pretty close. We might go to another game 7 here. But the Lakers are going to pull out another victory for the 3-2 lead. But the Lakers with a 20-point lead going into the 4th, and they are going to win this game pretty easily. So close for this team, but the Lakers are going to come out on top. LeBron, of course, going to get NBA Finals MVP, averaging 28 points and 14 assists per game in the finals here. That is insane. He also shot insane as well, but so close for this team. They end up coming second, only losing to the Lakers. And I mean, this is a pretty solid squad. Our guys improved quite a bit throughout the season. Andre up to an 89, Clinton 86, D'Angelo Russell an 86. I mean, overall, this team worked very good without having any superstar players, and they end up making the NBA Finals. But that is going to be it for this video, guys. If you did enjoy it, make sure that you do smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. This has been your boy Smequle, and I'll see you next time. Peace.
I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back, tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. The phone and affection, I summon and dub it. Cause I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the